Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 281.
Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. Hey, folks, today we're going to visit with Bill Dease, and Bill is the owner of Calm Before the Kill TV. He's out of Michigan, and he does a lot of bow hunting, and he happens to love bow fishing. I don't know a lot about bow fishing, but stay tuned because he's going to share those secrets with us. He can be found on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Google Comcast, and Rabbit TV. And he's also on Predator Outdoors TV website. So he's got quite a following, and I'm sure you're going to love hearing from Bill Dease.
Hey, folks, we got a special for you. The 2016 Rut Forecast by AJ Gall and Audrey Faffey. Yes, it's available right now by texting 33444 Rut Report. That's 33444 Rut Report.
Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is your host, Bruce Hutchin, and we're heading over to Michigan today. We're going to connect with Bill Dease. Now, Bill is the owner of Calm Before the Kill TV. Hey, Bill, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, man. Pleasure to be here, bud.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I want to hear about your 2016 buck. But before we do that, let's share with the listeners across North America just what Calm Before the Kill is all about.
Well, Calm Before the Kill is the name I came up with just because, you know, that feeling you get before it all comes down, you know, you black out on everything in the world around you, and you're so focused on, you know, that animal and making sure you put a clean, ethical kill on that animal. It's like, that's where the name came from, I'd have to say. But all in all, it's, you know, we try to keep everything more reality. You know, nowadays TV shows it seems to be all about going to a ranch and killing a 180 buck, and as an example, you know. So we try to keep it as reality. You know, if that animal gives us a rush and we want to take it for either table fare or, you know, or the trophy, whatever, we're going to take the animal, whether it's a 110-inch buck or 180-inch buck. You know, it's, you know, hunting has become so much of a, you know, to impress the viewer. You know, it's not even for the hunter anymore when you're watching the show, as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, that's trying to, you know, kind of what we keep it all on the line of, you know, is reality. You know, not everybody can afford to go kill, you know, a big buck on a ranch, or, you know, we want to keep it for the weekend warrior, and so they can relate as much as they, you know, as they hunt. You know, that's our goal.
Now, how many people are on your team, your pro staff or your film crew?
Right now, I got, a husband and wife, Ashleigh Ashford and Chris Hondo Conley out of Texas. We got Toby Hopkins and his daughter out of North Carolina. We got Brian Edwards and his son Connor Edwards out of Tennessee. And I have Ryan Turvort and his son Dayton Turvort out of Colorado. So we're kind of spread out across the country, you know, for different kind of animals, you know, on film, getting the harvest of them, you know. So, you know, we just got done in Louisiana in September when we killed, my buddy's got a bunch of tags. We went down there alligator hunting. We killed 28 alligators in 2 days.
Goodness. Wow.
And yeah, it was a blast, man. The airboats and that, never been on them yet, but we had a blast. So that'll be one of the upcoming shows. Actually, the next show here pretty soon here will be released, and make sure you guys check it out. But yeah, it's nice to, you know, get a variety of, you know, that way we're done. Each of us don't have to travel so much. I mean, we got the Colorado guy, obviously Ryan Turvort, hunting elk and mule deer, and he kills some turkeys out there. So, it's spread out, different terrains, and you get to, check out different parts of the country. It's not just one state.
Now, you know, or you might not know, I live in Colorado. So where do the guys live here in Colorado? What city do they live in?
Oh, shoot, man. You're asking a tough question.
Okay, that's okay.
I forgot. I'll get back with you on that, though, Bruce, for sure.
Yeah, because I'd love to connect with them and get them on the show, especially since they're local.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of whitetail hunters ask me all the time, send me emails or tweet me or whatever, and they say, hey, Bruce, how can I, find a place to go hunt out west, and how can I do this, and how can I do that? And so when I find people that, one, have done it or, know about it really well, then I'd love to have them on the show, because it just helps the people, because there's thousands of people that dream about hunting elk. And hunting elk to me is like you hunting whitetails there in Michigan. I just know where they are, and it's a lot of work, but the country's just bigger. That's all it is. And one thing, when I started hunting elk a long time ago, the guy hunting on his land, and it was DIY, but he just let people, hunt for very nominal trespass fee back then. And he said, you guys from Wisconsin, you're tough because you know how to hunt. And I thought it was interesting. He says, a lot of guys, won't hunt as hard as you guys do. And, I found that, really interesting. So I like to share as many out west stories as I can, because every year people say, man, I want to go chase those elk, and they are magnificent animals. So go ahead.
He did a good year, though. Yeah, that's for sure. He said the bugling just shut down when he went, and so he didn't have too hot of a year, but they killed a couple of mule deer does. Him and his wife both got him on film, so with their bows. But yeah, for sure, man. I'll definitely let him know you're interested in talking to him also, man, and we'll set something up for sure.
Yeah. Now we're at the point of the show. Tell people how to get hold of you, view your show, and just your contact points.
Right on. Yeah, our Facebook page. It's pretty. We keep up with that pretty good. So I mean, as far as current things, that's definitely the way to check us out, is Facebook mainly. But as far as viewing the show, we are on Predator Outdoors TV. It's my buddy Chuck owns the TV channel, and his channel, which our show airs on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Google Chromecast, Rabbit TV, and also you can view our show on Predator Outdoors TV website and also YouTube. So in case you don't have those internet device-based units, then you can check us out on YouTube. All the episodes are on there. I think I got 7 on there right now. So some good stuff. I mean, if you watch from episode 1 till the latest one, you definitely see improvement. I mean, we're all working to get better. So hopefully everybody's enjoying what they did see. But I know we got 45,000 views so far on our shows.
Goodness. Good for you.
Yeah, it's getting there, man. It's you got to work to make it happen. That's for sure. And it's on its way.
Oh, that's great. So why'd you start it? Why'd you start Calm Before the Kill TV?
Well, I tell you what, as soon as video cameras, I could get my own video camera, man. I love reliving the experience of the hunt. It's to watch and, relive it. And then when your kids, you start showing your kids all your past experiences. And I started filming when I was young. I mean, just driving around looking for deer. Me and my friends would, we'd have a video camera in the truck or whatever, and 16 years old or whatever, just driving around and looking for deer. We'd film. I don't know. It's just a passion to relive everything, because, if you even see a big buck out in the woods, at least you got him on camera to say, look at this guy, and, it's just awesome to relive. And then as far as me getting footage from the pro staff that I have, it's great to relive their hunt and talk to them on the phone while you're working on that episode, and it's almost like you had that experience. It's so much fun to me. I mean, I wouldn't pay anybody to edit because I like it so much, I'll tell you that.
In the warm-up, we talked about the hunting tradition, so let's just go back down memory lane and talk about the people that got you interested in the outdoors and made you a better hunter.
Well, I mean, I owe it to my dad. He's in heaven now, and he's always with me in the woods, and I owe it to him. It's that passion was there. I mean, I was out before I could even get a hunting license and sitting out in the winter gun hunting with my dad and just freezing my butt off because I liked it that much. I mean, and we couldn't wait to get your first license and get your first gun, and that all just took off for me. It was actually, I got my dad into bow hunting a few years before he passed. But I love the fact that, and getting my children involved is number one. Both of my kids, my son's 14 and he's already killed 7 or 8. And my daughter's just turned 11 in August, and she's already killed a couple herself. And reliving those, like we were talking about, is reliving those experiences and coming home and watching it. It is just, it almost brings a tear to your eye, to be honest, to see the excitement. I mean, my daughter had tears in her eyes on her first one. It's just, I love to relive that hunt and watch it as much as I can.
Now, are you hunting public land or private farms or leased land? What's your setup for your hunting land?
Me and my son, there's a little tip for everybody. Obviously show the landowner. We got a piece of private land, actually 2 sides of a road. My landowner owns both sides, and he's got 120 on one side and 140 on the other side. And we get to hunt that and up in the thumb here in Michigan and all farmland. And, it's just a killer spot. I mean, we're trying to manage it, but we cannot gun hunt it. So they kind of shoot whatever, him and his family, but we're allowed to bow hunt only, but we're the only bow hunters. But yeah, it's just a rocking piece of land,
So, is it swamp? Is it half irrigated, hardwoods? Tell us about.
Yeah, I'd say probably 60% of it. The guy, the farmer that leases the land, he's been planting corn. I mean, I know you're supposed to rotate crops every year, but he's been planting corn for the past 3 years straight. And they just cut it. And there's probably, there's a good chunk of woods, but it's got some wetland in it, some swamp and hardwoods mainly. Kind of rolling hills and just a beautiful area and real thick, because you got some real thick, nasty spots in there that them big boys hang in, And we try to stay away from them until prime time, the rut kicks in like now. We sneak in and hunt them thick at edges.
How do you decide where to put your sets, and on the acreage you do have? How many setups do you have?
Me and my son each have 2 stands each. I don't like to booger up too much on one side, and we kind of swap back and forth. And obviously, you play the wind, obviously, but it's a matter of the pressure, And as far as deciding on where to hunt, I'd have to say you got to learn your land. That's number one. I spend a lot of time glassing from the road and staying away from my food sources and stuff like that, and seeing where they were coming out a lot at. You can't overpressure the animal, and the less you do, the better chance you got of killing a big one, obviously. But I'd have to say that's number one. Just, it takes a couple of years, when you got a big piece of private land or whatever, you got to spend your time out there and glass and watch, and during the late summer months before season, and, pick your animal out even, and make them your target buck. And that's kind of what we do. We try to stay away and just scout from a distance,
Now, how many deer did you have on your hit list for this season?
I had 2. And I killed the one 2 weeks ago. He wasn't a giant. I mean, Michigan, it's extremely tough state to kill, a giant buck. And they are here, and I've been seeing them all over the Michigan buck poll page in certain counties and a few in my county where I hunt. But, it's the 2 tag limit, the 2 buck tag limit, and the back in the few years ago here, you could buy a doe tag every day, and there's a lot of Mennonites and Amish up there, and I've witnessed a lot of them just wiping like a lot of deer out. I mean, the one farmer I had up there good 6 years ago, that family killed 93 does in a matter of 3 years. So Michigan is a tough state to really, unless it's your property and you can manage everything on that, then it's real tough to manage a deer. I mean, I don't want to rag on Michiganders or anything because I love it here, but it's a lot of people will kill us the first buck they see, that spike horn, and I wish to God Michigan would totally go to 1 buck rule. I mean, that's what we need for sure, and 4 points or better on one side. I mean, that's our restricted tag is 4 points on one side or better, and I wish they'd get rid of that. I mean, we'd have a lot more bigger bucks. I mean, we got the nutrition, the food and water and mineral and the ground, and we definitely got the genetics here and what they need to grow.
Yeah, one thing, I hunt with a crossbow now because my shoulders are bad, but when I was looking at crossbow hunting and talking to the Colorado DNR, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, Michigan did some great studies on bow hunting, and it was interesting. They didn't see an appreciable increase or decrease for the people using the compounds, and at that time I realized your seasons allow you to kill 2 bucks, and like you said, unlimited does. If all you have to do is buy the tag. Now Wisconsin has some CWD areas, and they want to get the herd size down, but it's so dang hard because, as you can have a couple of bucks and a couple of does on a 40, and if they don't want to be seen, you'll never see them.
That's right. And until this time of year,
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
this is what we live for, man. We got a major cold front coming in here for Friday, and we're heading up tomorrow night, and I think it's supposed to be about 45 degrees the high and 29 the low. So if anything's going to get them deer moving, that's going to be it, bud.
Yeah, now let's talk about your 2016 buck.
Sure. Actually, second week of bow season, I missed my first target buck at 12 yards, to be honest. I seen him the Friday before, and that next Saturday he came in, but he stayed in my thicket, and he had 2 forkhorns with him, which are 4-pointers. I don't know what you guys call them out there, but forkhorns. He came in with them, and the 4-pointers were grunting and going crazy, and there was not even a doe in the area. They were just being young bucks. But the big one I was after, he stayed back in the thicket, and he finally committed to coming into them 4-pointers because they did a big circle out in front of me and come up to my right side and come right under my tree stand, and we're just staying there for a good 10 minutes, just browsing and eating. And that buck was watching him the whole time. I'm like, come on, Brian, come on. And he finally committed. He come in and he was coming straight at me, nose first, a little bit off to my right side, and he stopped. I came to full draw because he was coming, and he started quartering away, so I was going to bury it right behind the shoulder, and he actually stopped with his head sticking out of the thicket, almost looking. He had his head up, so I was already at full draw, and it seemed like forever. He stayed there and did not move, and I couldn't let off, so I actually, when he did make his move finally, I couldn't hold my bow back anymore. I mean, my muscles were like giving out, and I'm shooting 70 pounds, and
oh my goodness,
it was just enough, where I couldn't do it anymore. And when he finally gave me that shot, my arms almost like gave out on me, and I shot right under him. So yeah, that was the start of my season. And 2 weeks ago, I went back a little bit deeper into our thicket and up in the thumb area there, and heard something running and turned and looked, and I seen him standing there, and he was grunting, but I didn't even see a doe prior to that. So he just turned and came walking right toward me with a little bit of a trot. And I stopped him probably 4 yards away from me, and he had a little bit of quartering away. So I put the arrow right in the front side of his neck, but down low. And I buried that arrow right into his heart from up above him. I mean, that's not a shot I normally like to take, that's for sure, but I was confident, I know the vital areas and, the muscles and and bones and stuff. So I try to, just imagine that skeleton on that animal that I could bury that arrow right into that heart and make him expire quick. But yeah, he still went 200 yards with that arrow through his heart.
Oh my goodness. You mentioned a couple of times the thicket. Are you hunting right in the bedding area, or explain how your setup is?
Yeah, like I said, I try to stay away from the thicket, which is the bedding areas. That's their. See, we got one that runs right through the middle of our section of our woods, and it comes out right into the cornfield. So even if they are back in the hardwoods, I don't like to get deep in the woods. I mean, that's where the animals are bedding. You know what I mean? Until this time of year. So around this, Halloween time, that's like my go time is when I will move into the center of that woods. We try to hunt the outsides more along the food source fields. We got an alfalfa field that's on our property to our south. And, I try to stay on the outsides of them woods, the wood lots that we get. I mean, Michigan, we don't have like where I hunt. It's small sections of woods that have a road every half mile to mile, So it's not a lot of big sections. So mine, fortunately, my land I got on the one side of the road is a mile. We don't have that half mile cut through road. So it's connected to a lot of other good land also. So, but yeah, like I said, I try to stay out of the deep in the woods as much as I can, just from bumping them animals and, scent, obviously. And so we'll try to hunt the outsides until this time of year. And this time of year, obviously, people know, everybody knows that deer hunts, they're running all day long. So if you bump one, so what? Get in there and hunt. I mean, you can't give up on because one doe's blowing at you for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Get in there. This time of year, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. That's for sure. Now, so if I understand correctly, you got your stand outside of the thicket and basically between the thicket and the cropland.
Well, I'll hunt right on the edge of that thicket. You know what I mean? I won't go in it. Even this time of year, I will not go in it. It's not a giant piece that the thicket is. You know what I mean? It's a small section, but it's enough to hold them bigger deer. And even if they are in the hardwoods, to get out to that crop field, I've witnessed so many times them taking that thicket to get out to the crop field. So, I mean, that's a secure feeling to them animals. It's, nobody can see me. I'm safe in here. And I've witnessed it so many times. And this is our 5th year hunting there. So, like I said a little bit ago, learning the property is number one and what the animals do. And, they pretty much stay pretty consistent, so even if you do, you do see action one year, next year, I mean, I suggest, hunt that area. We've noticed that our deer pretty much do the same things every year. So after a couple of years, you learn it and it's go time.
Let's switch it up and talk about kids in the outdoors. I know that's important to you as we discussed in the warm-up. So share why that's important to you and what you're doing about it.
Well, it's our future, man. I enjoy, my kids all winter long when there's not much to do when it's freezing out. Obviously, we take them ice fishing and that, but I get them away from them computers and phones as much as I can. And, that area where we hunt, you don't have no service on the cell phone, and it's kind of like dead time, it's family time up there for us. And very important to get them. I mean, that's our future, and, teaching them to respect the wildlife and preserve it in the right way is number one, and then we jump into, springtime bow fishing, turkey hunting, and, it's bow fishing it's right up there with deer hunting for me with a bow and arrow. It's very action packed. You get you can get the lighter pound bows for the kids, and AMS bow fishing makes a lot of the youth model stuff. So my daughter, she's a little girl and she can't pull much, but she shot her first 2 gar pike this past summer, and it's just a nonstop action. Certain times of the year, the kids gotta, they get bored fast. Everybody knows that. So bow fishing is one thing that that keeps them interested. They're definitely staring at the water, just waiting to see that next carp or whatever, and it's definitely important, though, for me, just because, I was raised into hunting, and to me, as being a father of 2 children, I feel like it's my duty to make that continue on in the tradition,
Yeah, it is important. And I've had so many guys say, if we all would just invite one kid, a neighbor kid or somebody from church or from work, whatever, and say, hey, do you mind if Johnny comes with me or Susie comes with me hunting and just sits in the stand and experiences it? They don't have to have weapons but just experiencing it. And it's just amazing. All of a sudden the kids go, wow. I can remember a couple of times living out in Colorado when my son was old enough and that he could hang with me hunting elk. And it was unbelievable, the show that he saw, and I called a little fawn mule deer because I was sounding like a cow elk just mewing. And that one came up. I mean, it was right in front of me. His eyes just got so, huge. And I was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness,
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
For sure. It is. I mean, they don't know until they experience it. That's the thing. Getting them out there is number one, and I always tell my son and that, bring a buddy from school, we'll take them bow fishing and that. And, after that, they want to go all the time. It's just, it's too much fun, and people that don't do it, I suggest, you're all I gotta say is you're doing something wrong if you don't get a kid involved in nature and the outdoors. There's nothing like it, and I've seen it on my kids and their friends' faces, and that's what I like to see is that smile, man. And that's more important than anything to me is that kid being out there and enjoying what I grew up enjoying. And if they never get a chance to experience, they'll never know. So, like you said, getting a kid, the neighbor kid or whatever from church or whatever, get them out there and let them see what it's all about. And I promise you, you're going to change their life.
So let's switch it up now in bow fishing. I have never bow fished in my life. I used to spear carp when I was going to college and stuff, and then we'd smoke them and then we'd eat them. But I've never done it with bow and arrow. So, I don't know anything about it. So tell me, how you do it. Do you walk to shore? Or are you in a John boat? Or how's it all work?
Yeah, I got a 20-foot John boat rigged up with 50 watt. I got 12 50 watt LED lights on it. Run off a generator but yeah, we do a lot from shore. When they're spawning in that, we got a couple canals around local here that we hit, and at nighttime it's a riot, man. There's nobody out there on the lake, and it's peaceful. You're all by yourself with your buddies and kids or whatever, and just having a blast, But I live right down the road from Lake St. Clair here in Michigan. I live in Harrison Township, Michigan, and it's loaded with fish, man. Lots of fish, that's for sure. And then sometimes we go up to the Caseville bow fishing tournament up there, and up in Saginaw Bay area, up in the tip of the thumb of Michigan. And we try to do a couple tournaments a year. AMS holds a great tournament, AMS bow fishing in Wisconsin. It's called the Big 30. We just started hitting that one a couple years ago, and we travel out to Wisconsin early May and shoot that one. But yeah, it's bow fishing is keeps your muscles tuned up for all season basically. Because we start bow fishing usually the mid-April, and we do it all the way till September. So your bow pulling muscles are just they stay tuned all season long during that summer period. So it's you're already used to shooting a bow, and especially when you're shooting 100 times a night at fish. That's pretty average, It's easy to say, okay, I shot 100 fish plus tonight,
Oh my goodness! Now,
certain time. Yeah, what's that?
Are you using compounds? And tell me about the broadheads. I know you have to have a string in it so you can get your arrow back. What's the setup like?
Yeah, setup. You don't want to shoot more than like 50 pounds so your arrow doesn't bury into the dirt and mud and muck and all that stuff too deep. Like 40 pounds is a good average pull or draw weight on a bow for bow fishing. Fish tips are basically a couple prongs that you unscrew the tip of the arrows. There's a bunch of different styles. Obviously, you can unscrew the body of the tip or the tip, the pointed tip, and basically you have two flanges that stick out that hold the fish while you pull them in, and you loosen the tip, and they'll pull up forward so you can pull the arrow out of the fish. But as far as best thing to do is, if you're interested in giving it a shot, is go to amsbowfishing.com and check out their selection for everybody listening. It's like I said, it's a action-packed sport, man. It's a freaking blast for sure. Kids, like I said, they love it, but it's compound bow. Other than that, you just have a bottle retriever. Some people have like a Zebco-looking old reel. They make Zebcos and stuff like that. Muzzy makes a reel. It's like a spinner with a little fishing pole end on it. I mean, there's just bow fishing has grown so much, and I mean, it's becoming a huge sport now, and a lot of people are getting into it and making their own designs on stuff. But we stick with AMS bow fishing, their gear and their bows. I mean, they're so reliable. That's what they're known for. So,
well, thank you for sharing that. And we're at the time in the show, Bill, that you can give shout outs and let people know, how to view your show again, and then family and friends, and then we'll wrap the show.
Okay. Yeah, shout-outs. I'd like to give a shout-out to all the staff members on Calm Before the Kill. They're all doing a great job. Wouldn't be in the position I'm in now without your guys' help. Shout-out to my family and friends. Thanks for all the support everybody's given me throughout the years. And there's been times where I felt like giving up on the show, and, it's just too much, and, losing staff members and gaining staff members, and a lot of work, and, a lot of people encourage me. This is my dream, so keep it up. I definitely want to give a shout out to all them people. And again, you can view us on Predator Outdoors TV, which is aired on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Google Chromecast, and Rabbit TV. Also YouTube and Predator Outdoors TV website. And be sure to head over to our Facebook page and check it out. Give us a like.
Facebook page is Calm Before the Kill. Is that your Facebook?
Yep, Calm Before the Kill TV.
And then how about on Twitter?
We don't have Twitter.
Okay. Well, Bill Dease, this has been really fun. I've learned some stuff that I didn't know before. And, you're a heck of a guy. I can't wait to have you and other people on your team on the show again, because it was really fun and I enjoyed it. So on behalf of our listeners all across North America, Bill Dease, thank you so much for being a guest on Whitetail Rendezvous.
Thank you for having me, bud.
Hey, listeners, don't forget to text 33444 Food Plot for your free Food Plot ebook. Hey, folks, make sure you tune in to the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. We're going to be visiting with John Schofdahl out of Weston, Pennsylvania. And John has just taken a really great buck, and he's going to share some secrets. The buck was coming to the water. He was on a hillside, and it was in a transition zone between the bedding area and the feeding area. John's going to knock it all down for us and let us know how he put the clothes on Mr. Wonderful.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.